Hi everyone, welcome to Addison. Coming up on today's show, we'll take you to the Addison Art Guild Fall Members Show, and on Future Ready at TCD, an interview with TCD Director Dr. Jim Thorne and a look at the cosmetology program.
But first, we're joined by Lieutenant Barry Gilbert and Thomas Keith from the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary. With boating season over, this is a good time to talk about safety classes offered by the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. Yes, this is a great subject actually because it kind of warms me up. I'm thinking of nice warm water,
yeah,
sailboats.
You kind of anticipate, you know, what fun it is in the summer.
Skiing, fishing, and it's 10 degrees out.
Beautiful weather.
Right.
But Tommy, your big thing is trying to get everyone to be aware if they have a boat or are thinking about getting a boat, to be aware if there's classes for them to make them safe pilots.
That's their responsibility, right? To make sure their boat is safe and to know what to do by taking these classes.
Right, and I think we'll talk about both of those, both about the boating classes and also how you can, as the boating season will start to approach, check your own boat, and also how you can get your boat checked for free by the Coast Guard Auxiliary for safety as well.
Well, that's great because everybody's looking for something for free.
Yeah. They always say you can't get something for nothing, but you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, where do you have the classes at?
Most of them are up at we have an operations center. It's actually a double-wide trailer up at Waukegan, right at the docks there, right at the lakefront, so it's easily accessible. And we do offer courses other places as well, too, if we're invited. Some of the local schools. Lately, we've been giving classes for the Waukegan Fire Department, and we'll be doing it for the police department as well. So we do those on site for them.
These are for novices who are just beginning, or for
They're actually for
advanced?
anybody. It's a good idea to review, and there's a lot of stuff, even when I've been helping to give the class or whatever, and I'm sure that's been Barry's experience, there's something that you forget. It's a good reminder. We also have some advanced courses as well as the basic. We do have a couple basic boating courses. One's an all-day 8-hour course. You get a certificate from that. Right now it's voluntary that you take these classes, although there is proposed legislation in Illinois to require people to take boating classes. Some states already have that. Also, generally, if you've had a safe boating class, most of the insurance companies will give you a discount as well, which is also a good feature. You know. And
so do you have like a driver's license card in your wallet that you always have with you?
We usually get both a larger certificate, but we do have wallet cards as well. And these are, our classes are certified by the Association of Boating Law Administrators throughout the United States. So the ones that are given by the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary can be used in any state too. A state that requires you to have a boating class or requires you to have insurance, you can usually get a discount with that.
Barry, what kind of classes are you going to tell us about?
All right, our boating safety classes will start after the first of the year in January, and they generally run through like April, because then the boating season starts. So this is preparation for the people to get on the water. And our classes now, as Tom said, our ABC class, which is generally about our general class for boating safety. But we have some of our more advanced courses, boating skills and seamanship, and some of our shorter courses, which are 3 hours, 2 hours. They teach you for a handheld VHF radio, which is a short course, that's 2 hours. We have GPS for mariners, handheld, that's a 3-hour course. Those are offered like even in the summertime, you know, if a person buys a boat and he doesn't know how to do any of this stuff, we have classes for it. We're also linked with the U.S. Power Squadron. We've linked up with them, and they have a lot of schooling sites. Now we have schooling sites around here, over in Wooddale. We have flotillas in Elmhurst, out west here in St. Charles. Our particular flotilla is based in Waukegan because we have 2 patrol boats up there, and we have our operations center, and it's closest to our working Coast Guard station, which is Kenosha. We work hand in hand. I actually run the radio, I'm a radio watchstander from time to time in the summertime, and communicate with the Kenosha Coast Guard station. Our classes are, depending on the class, vary in length. And one of my primary jobs as a program visitor is I visit boat dealers and stuff like that. We try to hand out literature for kids. We'd like to start off, with kids. I actually, with the Addison Park District, I'm popular with them. I give them, when they have some, swimming classes, I give them literature for, knowing how to put on a PFD, how important it is to use it, information like that. One of the other things we do, which has our Waukegan website on it, is our little whistle when you go to one of our safe boating classes. This whistle is actually put on your PFD, your personal flotation device. And as we discussed earlier, this was one of the big things that saved a few people's life on the Titanic. That's how far back the whistle.
You're in the water floating, and you blow the whistle, hoping somebody would
hear
come
you.
And rescue you.
Right, right.
Tom, what about classes specific, like sailboat? I mean, you have to be a pretty good sailor to run a sailboat.
We have a class on sailing that's actually a multi class that lasts for a number of weeks that we give up in Waukegan at one of the local boat dealers. And we have a couple of excellent sailors, people that take place in the Chicago to Mackinac race every year who give that, and it's an excellent class. So that's one of the advanced classes we have. We also, other than just the basic boating and some of the short courses Barry talked about, we have some advanced classes in coastal navigation and advanced coastal navigation, how to find your way out when you're out on the water. Particularly when your GPS doesn't work.
Yeah, when that's gone, you're gone.
Yeah,
Like
well, I always say
now.
The best thing you can depend on is yourself. And that applies in any situation. So it would be good to know that, like you said, without a GPS, because things happen sometimes.
We had talked about stopping people on the lake, taking their boats out. Tell us a little bit about that. We've got about a couple minutes.
Well, yeah, as long as you're boating out there, you're always liable to be stopped by any law enforcement agency. That could be the active duty boarding officers from the U.S. Coast Guard, it could be the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, could be your local or county law enforcement officials. And they'll go over your boat for all of the required items you have on it. If it's the Illinois DNR, they'll check your fishing license and whatever. Which is a good thing. The bad thing is if your boat isn't up to code with all of your safety equipment, you might get a ticket, and they might terminate your voyage, as they say. They might order you back to the dock. We provide the same kind of service, usually dockside, although we'll come out to other areas as well. And when we give you a vessel safety check, if you pass it, we give you a sticker to let people know that your boat was safe as of the date that we inspected it. But the good part is we can't issue you tickets, we don't issue you any kind of penalty, and we can't report you to any law enforcement officials, even to the Coast Guard boarding officers. So it's a nice way of checking out your vessel, both for your own safety and also for your safety of your pocketbook, not having to get a ticket. And it is free. It probably takes, depending on the size of your vessel, 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. We check over all of your equipment. We also have a site nationwide called www.safetynet.com, and that will be on at the end, as well as our specific flotilla website. And with there, you can actually do your own little pre-check. They'll show you everything we're going to check over with a picture of the equipment and explain it.
Wow.
And you can also go right on there too. You can contact us for a vessel safety check, or you could put in your address and they'll get somebody near you. That'll probably be Barry in this area. But it's a nice site for you to investigate. And think of it as preparing yourself and your vessel for the season. You don't want to go out there the first day of the season and not knowing what you're doing. You might bring
your family for a boat ride. You want to know that everybody's safe.
Thomas, thank you so much. Barry,
thank you. It's a wonderful thing that you're doing.
Maybe right before the season opens, we can come back and talk some more about it.
That would be great.
Good.
We'll be right back.
Corey Croggy with Future Ready at TCD, coming up later on Addison.
Hello, I'm Fire Marshal Mike Toyka from the Addison Fire Protection District. This holiday season, team up with us to make sure your celebrations are as joyous as possible. Please make sure that all electrical holiday decorations are in good shape. Replace any frayed or damaged cords. Consider replacing old, worn-out decorations with new ones that are more fire safe. If you use a real tree for the holiday, please make sure it is as fresh as possible and has constant water to keep it green. Check often to make sure it is not drying out. And take the tree down as soon as possible after the holidays. The longer the tree stays up, the drier it becomes. Candles are often a part of the holiday decoration and cheer. Please make sure you use candles safely. A lit candle should never be left unattended and should be kept away from flammable decorations. Consider using flameless candles and decorations for safety. And never ever use candles as decorations on your tree. From all of us at the Addison Fire Protection District, please have a safe and joyous holiday season.
Well, welcome to our fall members show, Addison Art Guild members show, and once again, we have a great show. As I was sitting here earlier this afternoon, people were leaving from the village and they were going home, and they came by and they told me about 4 people stopped by and said, I don't know, the work is so beautiful and this show really looks good this year. This really looks good. So I have to congratulate the chair people, Sandy Connor. Sandy, raise your hand, kiddo. Oh, she's behind me. She's short too, so you can't see her. Sandy, come up here. Sandy Connor and Judy Sullivan. They're our chairpersons. Also want to thank all the people that help put it up every year endlessly is Bruce Peterson, our curator, Greg Maximu, Bill Limbaugh, Sandy Ott, who comes all the time and hands out the labels every year, every time we have a show. So congrats to you. This is a really great show. And since I'm thanking, Sandy Ott comes here also, and she's also got a little raffle going over there on the side of some fun little treasures. All the money goes to the Addison Art Guild, pays for little things here and there. And Carol Tricka for bringing our membership books. All our membership books are on by the coffee, and your names are on them, and you'll notice it's got a new face, a new look. Bill Limbaugh is our artist that was chosen for his work to be on our members book, and it looks beautiful. Thank you, Bill. And Ray and Elke for putting on a beautiful spread that we're all munching on. And a gorgeous spread it is, all for fall. Elke, are you back there? Yeah, and Ray. So we'll give them oh, they're right in front of me. I'm sorry. I'm looking right there. Thank you, guys. A little announcement. We have a petition for the airplane noise. This is like a commercial. June File has it by the refreshments. Would you please sign it? It's against the noise of all the airplanes going over us in Addison. One other thing, don't forget our Christmas party. Melody's not here today, but she's organizing the Christmas party, and that's next month. That's December. So if you get your form into her and let her know that you're coming, and that's going to be a good time for all. Now, did I forget anything? No. So I am going to introduce our judge, and then we're going to pass out the awards. I'm going to let Sandy and Judy do that. And then after the awards are passed out, then we're going to go around and our judge is going to give his critique and some words on the pieces that he chose. And then after our show is over, you get to take your pieces with you so you don't have to come tomorrow morning and get them. And I'll remind you. Okay, our judge, Eric Fosberg. Fosberg, I'm sorry, Fosberg. Kind enough to judge our show. He started painting when he was 10 years old. He studied with Charles Vickery and Thomas Hoyne III, and he attended the American Academy of Art. He worked on tall ships, lobster boats, fishing trawlers, PBS did an interview and a program on Eric. He's been published in books. Channel 9 did a program on Chicago's very own, and Eric was in last December. He manned a show at the Wisconsin Maritime Museum, and shows his work in galleries and museums around the country. So we are very proud to have you look at our show today, Eric. And with that, I'm going to let Judy and Sandy come up and see who he's chosen.
Honorable mention is Tanya Blanco for Paz de Blue.
Tanya?
I don't see Tanya.
There you go.
Oh, there she is.
Here, Sandy, you give them to her. Lynn Teets.
Honorable mention to Lynn
Teets.
Teets.
Great egret.
Great egret.
Lynn is not here.
Oh, okay.
But we'll clap for her.
June File, honorable mention.
And that is for Garden Bunny Bounty.
Garden Bounty.
Very good. Okay.
Bruce Peterson, second place for
He's got so many. Here he is. Elgin Home in the
Elgin Home in the Fall.
Elgin Home in the Fall. Greg Maximian.
Second place for Gregor
Maximian.
Leaning Tower.
She got the check too?
Give
See.
Greg.
Roger Hargis.
Egret at Dusk.
Egret at Dusk. And where's this check?
Okay, and now for first place prizes. Come up here, Sandy. Pat Douglas.
Patricia Douglas for first place, and then she appeared.
Margaret Buckholtz. David in Hawaii.
It's very exciting. Okay.
Miriam Makovic.
The Blooming Hour.
The Blooming Hour.
Glomming Hour.
Glomming Hour.
And Mary Ann's
Ann's
not
not
here.
here.
So I'll take her money for her.
Okay. Jan Duntman. The Dolores Keevy Award for Evening Stroll. She's not there either.
Nobody wants to say his last name, so Bootsarellis will say it. For Best of Show, it's Angelo Capanolo. There we go. Yeah, he's here. Okay, now what we'll do, huh? Oh, for which one? All of them. No. Okay, Angelo, with good question. Old Deer. Congratulations to everyone.
I thought that this was a nice painting. The composition was nice, and the colors are very, pretty well. So I thought it was pretty nice. Bakos. And I thought the drawing was very nice, and the composition. So I thought it was well done. On this one here with Bruce Peterson, I thought the drawing was very nice, and the composition. There's a lot going on, but he kept it kind of simple in certain ways. So I thought it was nicely done. I thought this was nice too. The composition, it leads you right in there, and the lighting on it was very nice. So, one Lynn here, that she did was very nice too. You know, it's nice that the egret stood up behind the palm trees there. So, and use of negative space as well as the positive space going on. So I thought that was kind of nice. Marion's work, and I thought this was a nice piece, nice style, nice composition, leads you down the field right there, and the colors were in the tones of the colors were very nice. And we have Angelo's work, best of show. Congratulations. I thought it was a very nice painting. The drawing perspective was spot on. The composition was very good, use of negative space and positive space. He told you where to look and how to look throughout the painting. And that's very important. And the simplicity and then the details where it needed to be to tell you what he was telling you in the story, in the painting itself. So it was well done. This was very nice. I thought the composition was well done, and it laid out very nicely. So with the different items in there and the depth of the piece was very nicely laid out. I wanted to say, too, that there was a lot of good paintings, and it was a tough choice to make. So this one by Jan, Dolores Kiwi Memorial Reward, I thought it was a very nice painting. The colors, the tones of colors was well done, and I thought it had a lot of positive things going on tone colors and the composition. So that's the reason I picked it for that. I thought this was a nice form of abstract. Has a very nice composition, very well composed piece, but also with the colors, it varied enough to capture your interest, and it also kept you going around within the mat there. For abstract, I thought it was a very nice piece. Well done, and especially the tone on tone, and then adding the tints and hues and shades on there. I thought it was nicely done. I thought this was a nice piece too by Roger. The style is different, but I like the composition. It was laid out very nicely, and it was well done. It was kept your eye very simply on the horizon and the bird. Laid you in there.
Dear Mom, I don't know how to start saying something like this. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have gone to the party. I've entered a world I don't want to be a part of. I'm in hell, Mom. A nightmare, and I need you to help me. I'm so afraid it's too late. Everything spiraled out of control. I want to be your little girl again. I love you, Mom, and I don't know where to turn.
Dear baby girl, I wish I could have helped you. You would have never done anything, ever, for me to hate you. I just wish I could hold you in my arms and tell you it's all going to be okay, that we can just go back to the way it was. I love you, and I'd do anything to hold you in my arms one more time. Love, your Mom.
Croggy. We're here at Technology Center of DuPage. Come inside with me and we'll take a look at Future Ready at TCD. We are at Technology Center of DuPage, located in Addison, but known throughout the county. for sending students to further their education. Technology Center of DuPage is overseen by the DEOS board, and I'm here with Dr. Jim Thorne, the TCD director and part of the board. Explain to me what DEOS is and what its role is with TCD.
Sure. DEOS is the DuPage Area Occupational Educational System, and we oversee the 14 school districts that serve DuPage County with respect to Perkins dollars, state vocational money, and we do that in conjunction with the districts as they offer their own curriculum, career and tech curriculum, as well as capstone courses that we offer here at TCD. So many of the 14 districts offer coursework at their schools in career and tech ed, and also we offer those too. Okay, so there are classes that the students are taking at their high school that are kind of integrated with the curriculum that they get here? Somewhat. Some of the courses that they offer at the sending high schools are, if not prerequisites, they're lower level courses that allow students to come here and even move their education further with career and tech education. Some of the districts may offer a basics foods course, for example. They may offer a basic auto class, but when they come here, we're able to offer the facilities and the equipment to take it to the next level. Okay. So how is TCD funded? Is it funded solely by those 14 districts, or do you receive other funding as well? We're funded partially, mainly by the districts. There's a tuition cost to send students to TCD. We're also funded partially through federal Perkins dollars that help pay for equipment and materials, and then also state career and tech dollars called CTEI. Mm-hmm. So the funding from the districts, is that based on how many students they're sending then? Correct. It's a per pupil rate, so it's based on the number of students that they send. And again, then the Perkins and the CTEI supplement that. Okay. And those districts also make up the governing board? Yes. Each of the 14 districts has a representative on the board. Some districts have superintendents. We also have assistant superintendents, technology directors, special education directors, which makes up a nice mix. So we get perspectives from actually we have a principal also, so it makes up a nice perspective of different people in the districts. Okay. And what does that board do? Are they determining what programs TCD is offering, or how the money is spent? What is their role? All the above. It's very similar to a public school board. Okay. They approve hiring, firing, they approve the budget. If we have new programs based on labor market needs, they would also approve that. So it really works very much like a school board. Mm-hmm. And then are they also determining the actual curriculum? I mean, as far as the programs that you're going to offer in the future and that sort of thing? We would develop programs, again, based on market needs, and we would present those to the board for their approval. So we also have committees on the board. We have a finance committee, a personnel committee, and they would work specifically in those areas. But really their role, again, just like a public school district, is a governing board. So we would make recommendations and then they would approve. Okay, so then taking that analogy, if they're like the Board of Education, then you're the superintendent? Correct. It's very similar. It's somewhat like a cooperative. Okay. And again, so my board, just like a public school system, oversee and help set policy. Okay, so then your role is to oversee then the principal and the... Correct. At TCD we have a principal. We have one 11-month assistant principal and two part-time assistant principals, and they run TCD. So TCD really is very much like one of the 14 districts. They have their own Perkins dollars and their own CTEI dollars based on how they have to run their building. And so it is very similar to being a superintendent with a building that you have to work together to offer the programs that are needed for students. Okay. So tell me about the unique aspects of TCD. It's career and technical education. Why is that so important? Why can't students get what they need just from their own high school? Good. A couple of different things make TCD unique. First of all, you will see as you go through, it's a 250,000 square foot facility dedicated specifically to career and tech education. I came to Illinois from Indiana as a former public school superintendent, and we tried to offer as much CTE in our buildings as possible. Sometimes we had the space, auto mechanics, if you had a lab, you were able to offer it, but there was no way a sending school could offer a facility like this. The culinary area that you will see in the kitchen is a commercial kitchen. So it's hard for schools to offer that level of facility. So we're able to offer that. It's also for if you're a smaller high school, you know, it'd be very difficult to offer a computer integrated manufacturing course, for example. And another example is with the manufacturing. We're able to have 4 CNC machines here that a manufacturer would have. That would be hard to do in a sending high school. So I think that's, as far as the space, that's probably one of the biggest advantages. It's also nice to have students who are here and that's their career focus. When they come to us, it's really not an exploratory type setup. They may be exploring careers at their sending school for their electives. They may take a foods course, they may take an auto body course to help them kind of decide what career field they want to go into. When they're here, generally, they've kind of made that decision. We had an expo at TCD, and we had a student who was in the culinary program, and he had taken all of the foods and culinary family and consumer science courses at his school, and he was here for his senior year. And I asked, you know, what's the difference? You take classes there, you took classes here, and I just figured he'd say it was something with the facility, but it was really interesting. And his sending school in the family and consumer science courses, it's an elective, so there are kids in there who are really interested in food science, and there are kids that aren't. And he said when he's here, all 20 or 25 kids are interested in the same career. So it's just a different makeup. So it allows those kids to focus. Yeah, it was a great perspective from a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, and that sounds very much like you know, in college, in the later years, you know, once you're really focusing on your major. Right, and
speaking of college, coming here, we have dual credit agreements with most of the community colleges in the area, obviously COD, and the students can gain quite a bit of college credit before they even leave here. So they're able to transition into post-secondary, and the parents don't have to pay as much because they don't have to take as many courses, and the kids are even further along. A lot of statistics show that students who start college with some credits from high school, the percentage of those students actually completing is higher than those who start off with no credits. So it's a big plus.
It also sounds like they're getting a lot of work beyond the classroom. I mean, really hands-on experience in these areas. You mentioned the commercial kitchen.
It is very hands-on. The equipment that you'll see, I mentioned the machine equipment. When you're in the auto body lab, you'll see the large number of cars that we have in there, from older cars all the way to, when you talk to automotive, they have 2 new Volkswagens that were donated. So the kids are working on current technology with automobiles. So it's very much hands-on. It's also, we like to say, not your father's vocational, in that we also integrate academics. When the students are here, they're not only getting the hands-on skills, but they're getting their math, they're getting science, they're getting language arts in an applied manner. And I think for a lot of kids, that really helps kind of flip the switch on, you know, why am I learning this algebra, or why am I learning geometry?
We all remember saying that.
We all remember that. And so when the kids can learn it in an applied method, they're usually more successful. And with the advent of Common Core state standards, part of Common Core requires, for example, in language arts, it's called reading informational text. So how do you read journals and documents and instructions as opposed to more literature-based? In math, Common Core requires math to be more applied. And so we're actually seeing a lot of traditional academic instructors talking to career and tech instructors. How do you make this more applied? And our career and tech teachers asking the academic teachers, you know, here's what we're doing academically, how does this fit in? And so it's a great opportunity for traditional academic teachers and career and tech ed teachers to actually be on the same page and work together.
How does that split out? Are most of your instructors coming from their various fields, or do they typically come from education and then just focus on an area?
The large majority are from the profession. I started my career as a career and tech marketing business teacher, and my background was in sales and retail. To be a career and tech ed teacher, you actually have to have so many thousands of hours in field in order to be a career and tech ed teacher. We're also fortunate at TCD to have a full-time language arts and a full-time math instructor on staff who work in conjunction with the career and tech ed teachers to make sure that they are covering some of the academics and how can we better work to not only improve the students' skills but also their academics. So we're fortunate in that respect.
And that stressing of academics may surprise some people, as you mentioned. Not your father's TCD. When I was going to high school, we had something like TCD, and the kids that got sent there were typically the kids that were not going to choose college. You either went to college or you decided that as kind of vocational training. And it's not called that anymore, as you've mentioned, career and technical education. What's the difference, and why is that so important for people to realize?
I think that, again, the big difference is that emphasis on academics. Common Core State Standards is based on college and career ready. I think schools do a great job of getting kids college ready. Sometimes we need to do more to get kids career ready. And so I think by having the career and tech ed teachers, we have to incorporate academics because the requirements for students to graduate from high school are so much greater. The workplace expects more out of students coming out of high school, coming out of career and tech ed. They're not just pushing buttons. They're not just running machines without actually having to think and work in collaboration and cooperation. So it's a big combination of expectations for students to graduate from high school, but also the expectations of employers, what they expect kids to come out with. But
the kids aren't necessarily immediately going into the workforce as we used to think of from a school. What percentage of your students are then going on to some form of higher education, whether it's community college or a four-year university?
About 95% of our kids are furthering their education. It may not necessarily be a four-year degree. We know in today's society that students can't be successful with just a high school diploma. Many of our students, by the time they leave TCD, have certifications, whether it's in medical. CNA students are prepared to take their exams by the time they graduate. We offer a large number of certifications for these students. So when they graduate, they can go into the workplace, but they also expect, as 95%, they know they have to further their education. And working again with the community college system in Illinois, we're able to offer that dual credit here at TCD. They can go get maybe 2 more years or 1 more year at COD, for example. And if they want to even go further, many of our Project Lead the Way kids, it's a pre-engineering program. Many of their expectations is that they will continue into that 4-year bachelor's degree. The labor market, as you've seen on the news, there's lots of stories about middle skills jobs, the jobs that require further education beyond the high school diploma, but maybe not a 4-year bachelor's degree. We're certainly set up to hit that sweet spot for kids to get that further education, to get them a head start, again, go to a community college and get another 2 years, get in the workplace, have an income where you can add that 4th year and get that bachelor's degree. So we're seeing lots of stories in the news about folks with bachelor's degrees either not being in the field they want to be, underemployed or unemployed.
Right.
I think the statistic is 53% of bachelor's degree holders are either unemployed or underemployed. And so we're able to help those students get a little bit more focused.
And you've mentioned, along the way, technology, and I'm sure that plays into what they call the 21st century careers now, and why just a high school diploma isn't enough. How does TCD stay on top of technologies and how industries have changed? Right. We're fortunate. One of our expectations in each of our program areas as part of being CTE, of being part of Federal Perkins Career and Technical Education dollars, is to have advisory committees. Each of our program areas has an advisory committee made up of local business owners in those fields. And so
as they look at their curriculum, as they look at their content, they work with those professionals in the industry to ask, what skills do you need? What skills do you want our kids to come out, whether it's cosmetology or construction trades or automotive or computer integrated programming. They're hearing from those professionals in those professions, and that's how we know what to offer, and that's how we know what courses to offer and what kind of skills the students need to have when they leave.
And do the students get the opportunity to meet with those kinds of people as well?
Absolutely. We're constantly bringing in folks from the advisory committees to speak to students. For example, our CNA students are out in the workplace. They have to get X number of hours, clinical hours. We take our students to, if it's automotive, for example, they'll take them to various shops and competitions so that those students are getting real-world experience.
So what do you think the biggest advantage TCD offers to a student, whether they're planning on going on to college or not? What's the biggest advantage they can get from any one of these programs?
I think the biggest advantage is it offers a focus. Just like I mentioned, the student in culinary, you know, he enjoyed taking the family and consumer science courses at his school with other students who are also in that elective, but he knows that this is his career. This is the field he wants to go into, so he can start to specialize. He can start to specialize and get those college credits before they even graduate. It allows the student to work with other students that are also interested in the same field. And I think another nice thing at TCD is we have 24 high schools that send students to us, so they're not only working with their own sending school students, but now they have to learn to work with kids from all 24 high schools. You know, 21st century skills, a lot of people assume that's technology. It's really about collaboration and communication. And that's a point of emphasis for our students, is how to work together to solve problems.
Great. Well, Dr. Thorne, thank you so much for being with us. We're looking forward to seeing everything TCD has to offer.
Thank you. I think you'll enjoy it.
Thanks. We're in the cosmetology area of TCD now, and I'm with Samantha Rebman, who is one of the instructors, but you have kind of a long history with this program.
Yes,
Samantha.
I do.
Tell us about it.
I actually came here when I was in high school. I'm an alumni. I graduated in 2006. I was from Glen Park West, so I would go to my high school in the morning and then I'd be bused here. By the time I graduated high school, I had my certificate to go take my test.
Wow.
And compared to all the other people my age, I was further ahead because of TCD.
Wow. So what career path did you then follow, and what brought you back here as an instructor?
Originally, when I left, I started working in a salon, and I was doing what I came to school for. And then probably about 3 years in, I then went back to another beauty school and got my license to be a teacher. And then once I was licensed, I came right back here and they hired me as a sub. And then worked here for about 3 years, and they hired me full-time my 4th year, and now this is my 2nd full-time.
So how many students do you typically oversee in a day then here?
In a day? Well, we have roughly about 25 in the AM, 25 in the PM, but ideally for myself, I have like all of them. They all come and congregate this way. They need help, they come to me. So anywhere from, I would say, 25 to 68.
Wow. And how many instructors are working in the program?
Working in the program at a time, usually we have 2 in the Phase 2 program, and then we have 3 in the Phase 1 program.
Okay, so those are the different years, juniors and seniors?
Yes.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about how the program changes from 1st year to 2nd year.
Okay, well, 1st year is strictly just working on mannequin work and book work. They're learning the basics. They learn the basics of hair cutting and all the procedures. Then going into their senior year, they actually have to come for summer, and that's when they start getting a brief idea of what it is like to work on clients. And then come their senior year, it's clients and mannequin work.
Wow. And how do you find clients that the students are working on?
A lot of the clients are clients that have already been here before, and they come all the time. They won't change. Regardless of the students actually changing each year, they still come back to TCD. A lot of the other clients would be like our family members, our friends and family, what they've marketed out there for us, and also what our students bring in.
That's great. And they don't just work on hair. What are some of the other career areas that you're covering as part of the program?
Hair is the big one, but then also facials, waxing, nails, those kind of areas.
And when someone follows that career path, works in a salon, do they typically specialize in one of those, or is it important for them to know all of those areas?
Well, in beauty school, they have to learn it all in order for us to even license them or give them hours. But when they leave here, they have that option. They can pick where they want to go, if they want to specialize into something particular, or if they want to just do it all.
And what is the recommended career path then? Do they go on to college? Do they go on to beauty school?
I would say for our seniors who were here junior and senior year, they did both years with us. When they leave here, they'll basically have 46 college credits towards their associate's degree in applied science.
Wow.
You only need 64, so that only means there's like 8 more that they have to do 6 classes. So that's about a year. So they'll have their license to go work in a salon, and then also their associate's degree by the age of 19.
Wow. And what kinds of skills do they gain here that is important, that gives them kind of a leg up on the student that graduates from high school and goes into that?
I would say number one thing is they're way more professional. They know how to conduct themselves in the workplace way further than some other people might.
What are they getting out of this program that's really important, or what did you gain?
What did I gain? Well, I gained a career by the age of 18, and everybody else was just trying to figure out where they were going to go for school and then what they wanted to be. So half the people my age right now still don't know what they're going to be. And here I am now, two licensed in by the state of Illinois in a profession, not a job. So it's nice.
Well, when I was little, I always loved to cut hair, and I actually cut all my dolls' hair. So and my family has always been in this industry, so I knew it was something I wanted to at least look into. And then I think it was my freshman orientation that someone had mentioned TCD, so I got interested and I looked it up, and I talked to people that have came here, and I heard some good things about it. So then we had a field trip one day, so I came in and checked it out, and I realized that it would be a great opportunity for me.
Okay. And what is the biggest difference between the first year and second year?
I would say probably being on the clinic floor here. We spend a lot of our time in the classroom, like getting the basics down first year, and second year there's more freedom and there's more clients coming in, and it's more like personal, and it's real life experiences.
Okay, so this is maybe an example of what you were doing first year, working on a mannequin. Okay, so second year you actually have clients come in.
Oh yeah, we have clients come in. We have Wednesdays and Thursdays are our client-based days, and we all have a set station. And I've taken haircuts, I've taken full foils, I've taken all over color. So yeah, it's a pretty cool experience to have like one-on-one attention with someone, and and get the feel of what it's going to be like in my future.
Now, do you concentrate specifically on the area of, for instance, hair, or do you get experience in everything, nails and?
We get experience in everything. We learn how to wax eyebrows and facial, and then we learn how to, of course, do everything hair-related, chemical processes, hair cutting, and then we also learn pedicures and we learn facials, and that's a pretty cool thing to do, because like facials you can't do on a mannequin, so you get a facial done on yourself, so there's a plus in that one too. When I graduate here, I will have 6 more gen eds to complete. I think it's like speech, sociology, things like that, and then so that will take me like about a year at COD, hopefully that things go on the right track, and then I want to go to school to get a business degree because I want to open up my own salon.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're already a year ahead once you get out of here.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll be like a sophomore in college.
That's amazing.
Well, after I graduate.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's a really cool opportunity. I mean, like, things can move fast, but I think it's, for me personally, and I think it will benefit a lot of other people, because you save a ton of money and like you're already like halfway there.
For more information about Technology Center of DuPage and the various programs offered here, contact your local high school guidance office or visit tcdupage.org. Krogge. We're here at Technology Center of DuPage. Come inside with me and we'll take a look at Future Ready at TCD. We're in the cosmetology area of TCD, very familiar area to our guest. Dr. Penny Belke is a dentist in Glen Ellen whose 2 daughters graduated the cosmetology program. Tell me a little bit about their experience. Let's start with your older daughter. How did she find out about the program?
Actually, Nancy found out about the program. I'm a Rotarian. And we had a luncheon here in the culinary, and Ed Sussmilch at the time kind of talked about what was available for the students. Nancy was a freshman at the time. And I came home and I said, Nancy, I said, did you know that this was available to you? And she says, no, Mom, I didn't know. Now, Nancy was always kind of hair and makeup, had to look just so. So it took her a while to get ready for school. She would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready for school. So I said, Nancy, I said, this is something you might want to think about. So as sophomore year rolled around and she was doing well in school, she had some times open. She said, Mom, you know, I think I'd like to check out this further. So we came to one of the curriculum nights and talked to a couple of people. And I had known Ed from Rotary again, so asked Ed some personal questions, you know. And Nancy started in the fall of her, well, the beginning of her junior year.
Okay, so she spent 2 years in the program?
2 years in the program. Finished early enough. There were quite a few challenges for them at the time. Some skills tests and things where they would go into competition, hair competition, which she thoroughly enjoyed and did, and absolutely loved going down to McCormick Place and going to the hair show, the International Hair Show. Fabulous. So she had a great time. You know, she learned a lot, and it prepared her for moving forward in her career later on.
And was she an influence on your younger daughter then coming here?
Absolutely.
Did she already have those tendencies toward cosmetology, or just her sister?
Jackie did. Jackie was not as well, had some learning disabilities. And I will say TCD was their best for her learning disabilities. Took her right from the beginning with her abilities and just worked right through it. Gave her the confidence she needed, better than her home school at the time, you know. And I knew that, you know, the counselor, everything, but I felt that TCD did a fabulous job with her.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me what they're doing today.
Today, Nancy, both of the girls went to college. Nancy to the University of Illinois, and Jackie to NIU. Nancy graduated University of Illinois, went on to get her master's in education, and worked in the District 214 in Wheeling District for 2.5 years. Married prior to that, and then retired from education, and has now 2 children, and she lives in Wheaton with her husband and her 2 boys.
And what is Jackie doing today?
Well, Jackie graduated from NIU. She went to the business school for marketing and sales. I had a patient who's been with me for many, many years, actually, when I started my practice, and she had done the same thing where she was a cosmetologist, went into marketing and sales, and then started working for cosmetology companies. You know, I won't mention names, but different companies. And she was always kind of like out there for Jackie to say, hey, you know what, that might be something that I'd like to do. So when Jackie did that, you know, she graduated from NIU. She did an internship with Paul Mitchell in the city. It's a beauty school, similar to this, you know, a little different level. And they actually hired her to be in admissions. Paul Mitchell has now moved out here to Yorktown, and she's an assistant admissions director for the Paul Mitchell School of Beauty.
Wow.
She's absolutely loving it. She's in her element, you know, so her skills
So this gave her a leg up a little bit.
It gave her a leg up, and her skills are with her, and she gets to learn more about the salons and beauty and whatever. The 2 daughters always had a summer job. Got into both of their sororities because they could do hair. Well, kind of like, it set them apart.
Yes.
It totally set them apart, and it just gave them a different, you know, oh, well, she's, yeah. And they made a lot of friends because friends all wanted their hair done. And they made money in college too because people came to them in college, so they could do that.
For more information about Technology Center of DuPage and the various programs offered here, contact your local high school guidance office or visit tcdupage.org.